Hello and welcome to episode 161 of Daryl Show Your Work. All right, so in this episode, I'm going to be focusing on site mapping, and there's two different aspects of this that can be with two different approaches to site mapping that can be used. So either we can use passive crawling or active spidering. So in this episode, I'm going to be conducting passive crawling with Burpsuite, and then I'm going to be using active spidering using OWASP Zaps. All right, so I've done some previous videos with both these applications, but not using them necessarily for the aspect of site mapping. All right, so before I continue any further, since this will involve potentially finding some vulnerabilities, I'm still going to preface this video with my usual disclaimer by saying that this is for educational, research, ethical purposes only. Any sort of malicious activity that may directly or indirectly come from someone watching it, I do not take responsibility for, nor do I condone. Okay, so to go over some just some high level definitions of see some of these terms I've already thrown at you. All right, so crawling, what is it? It's a process of navigating around a web application, following links, submitting forms, logging in where possible, and ultimately with the objective of mapping out and cataloging the web application and the navigational paths within it. And so again, I'm going to be conducting this type of site mapping using Burp Suite, excuse me, and then spidering. Spidering, that's the process of automatically discovering new resources such as URLs on a web application or website. And again, I'm going to be using OWASP Zaps to do that. All right. So what is OWASP Zap? All right. So in case those who may have been following me for a long time may have forgotten, or those who just may not be aware, it's a free, open source, and widely used dynamic application security testing tool designed to help developers and testers find vulnerabilities in web applications. So when I say dynamic application security testing, basically we're testing something that's running, that's living. So while it's running, we're going to be actively testing it to see how it works versus static application security testing or code analysis would be more like looking at source code of a web application or just an application in general, and then trying to find vulnerabilities based on scanning that source code or looking through that source code, depending on whatever your approach is. All right, so we're going to be doing so dynamically here. All right, so with those high level definitions out of the way, clearing that lexicon, I'm going to start off by conducting some discovery. All right, so let's find out what my IP address is. So I'm saying ifconfig. All right, so since I am running on Ethernet 1 interface, my IP address is going to be 192.21.17.2. All right, so I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to give that to well, I'm going to modify that to reflect my CIDR address, which I'm going to conduct a ping sweep against, and that's going to send ICMP packets to ping any other machine on my local network that may be up and running, and those are going to then those that are up and running are going to respond back, let me know that they're awake. All right, and the mechanism that I'm going to be using to do that is fping. So I'm going to say fping dash a dash g. Let's paste in my IP address. I'm gonna modify this to take off the 2 and replace it with the 0/24. And let's run that. So as usual, dot one, dot two, and dot three are all up. Dot one being the gateway. I want to maintain my internet access, so I'm going to leave that alone. Dot two being myself, and dot three being our target host. All right, so since we know what the target host is now, let's just jump to trying to pay a visit there, and let's see if I can access that over port 80. All right, so changing the 2 to a 3, and let's see what happens. I can, great. So it looks like we're looking at a multi-day instance here. Multi-day is typically OWASP. Think of it as a dummy application that's used for web application vulnerability testing. All right. So this is something that a tool that they give web application testers to be able to train and be able to find all type of vulnerabilities and learn how to identify all type of vulnerabilities. So this site or this application here is filled with all sorts of vulnerabilities and is meant to in order, for again for professionals to conduct technical training on. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to check to see that my Foxy Proxy extension here is enabled, and it's not. So I'm enabled, and I'm going to enable that. And so what it's going to do, that's going to connect the traffic that I generate from this browser to not only Burpsuite but also to OWASP Zap. All right. So this connects this browser to those applications. All right, so I've enabled that, and let's open up Burp Suite and get started on some passive crawling to conduct the sitemap. So ultimately, my mission here is to build us a map of the site, and I'm going to do so again using a more passive method, which is crawling. All right, so let's maximize this. All right, so I'm going to go over here to the target um, tab. All right, so we can see that this area is empty right now. So let me make sure the interceptor is off in proxy. It's on. Good thing I checked. All right, so I'm turning that all off. All right, so now let's go back to multi-day. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start clicking on these various links, and that's going to start filling in that blank space that we've seen, and start creating a sitemap for us. All right, so click on home. It's going to bring me right back here. Then I'm going to click on login register. All right, so I'm going to just put in some test credentials here, and just to generate a post HTTP method. All right, and then I'm gonna just click on that, click on this, click on that, click on that, and let's see, go to advanced, accept the risk. That's not a problem. Just want to be able just to map that portion of the site. So if I get those, that's not really a problem. Okay. All right, so I clicked everything at the top. So then let's click a few of these on the side. I'm not going to go through every single link here. So those that may be concerned that you're going to be sitting here just watching me try to click every single link. I'm not. I'm just showing you the difference. I'm just showing you what crawling looks like. All right. So you'll be able to clearly notice the difference between crawling and spidering, once this video is over with. All right. And I'm going to just click on like one other one. Okay. All right. So let's go back to Burp Suite here and let's see what's going on. Okay, so now we can see that we actually have two entries here. We actually have a HTTP version of the website and an HTTPS version of the website. All right, so this we can see where the methods have started to build up. All right, and if I well, let me go over here first. All right, so we can see a bunch of GET requests, and if I go over here to post, we can see where I generate that post request, where I tried to log in using some test credentials, and we can see those test credentials here. All right, so we can see username equals test, password equals test. Basically, we can see all those different methods. And if I go over here to expand what's under the HTTP version of the multi-day web application, we can start to see how we now have a documentation domain, images domain, includes domains. So it's starting to build those those domains as I was going through, and as I was clicking things. All right. So another thing that we can do is actually we could actually automate this by scanning this same site. All right, and it basically do everything that I was just doing except on the back end. So but it's still not as fast as spidering, but I wanted to show how that works. So over here at dashboard, if I were to go to new live task, all right, and then over here on the left, go to scan configuration, and then at the bottom select from library. I could then say add all links to web map to site map, excuse me, add all requested item to site map. And so when it was scanned, it would do those things. I'm not going to run the scanner here since that could take a while, but just showing a way in which we could automate the passive or the crawling aspect of this a bit more. All right, so now I'm gonna move on to spidering, and I'm gonna use OWASP Zap to do that. So going to web application analysis, then web application proxies, and then Zap. All right, so this is a more of an automated, even more automated process of again, the spidering is going to automatically discover um, URLs on the web application that I may not have been able to easily have done so, while crawling. All right, I'm gonna say yes here. And you know what? I think I know what the problem here is. I'm gonna close this out. Let's close this out. I think I need to close out, because it may be conflicting over port 8080, and that's why I can't have both of these things run at the same time while they're both connected to the same proxy. Let me see if my theory was correct here. All right, so let's go back and let's try to open that up again. Uh, Zap. All right, let's start that. No, I don't want to update. Okay, that appeared to be the issue. So the issue that I ran into is that seems like if you're running a proxy on that on your browser, you can't use both Zap and a Burp Suite at the same time because they're both trying to run on top of the same port, which is 8080. So I had to close out Burp Suite first in order for in order for Zap to be able to use the proxy and run over port 8080. Okay, so now that I'm in Zap, um, basically here all I need to do with Zap is refresh this the web page, and it should start filling in the it should at least be able to identify the site, and then I'm going to start filling in the blanks by scanning that site. All right, so first let's go here, and then I'm going to simply refresh the page. All right, then let's see. Yes, accept the risk. All right, no worries about that. Let's see. Yep, and it picked it up. All right, so it looks like it picked up just like what was done with Burpsuite. It picked up both an HTTP version of the site and an HTTPS version of the site. All right, so I want to target the HTTP version of the site. So I'm gonna right click. Well, actually, let's see. I'm gonna go up to Tools, and I'm gonna choose Spider. That's what I want to do. All right, and then over here, I'm gonna say Select, and then I'm gonna choose the HTTP version because I don't want to deal with any sort of SSL certificates. All right, I'm gonna hit select and then run. All right. So what's going to happen? This is running, and what's happening is that it's discovering those URLs automatically. So I don't have to go through, click anything, and you see how fast it's running. All right, so this is operating a lot quicker than crawling. And so if we look down here, what you're seeing at is that where you see where these red color hyperlinks, those are hyperlinks leading to like outside of the website. So think of like YouTube or some type of external site, where green is things that are internal to the website. So that's what it's notifying me of. All right, I'm gonna let it run. That should be enough. All right, so I'm not gonna let it run all the way. All right, so some things I wanted to point out. So we can export our findings here by clicking this, and this will export it to a readable format for us. And then if I go over here to alerts, all right, any sort of alerts that are found, that I can go over here and check out what those alerts are. And a lot of those alerts sometimes will be vulnerabilities. And I believe I showed that in my previous a video to when it came to OWASP. But again, that's not the purpose of this video. Excuse me. This is to show more of how the spidering works, and some things that we can find with spidering outside of just the vulnerabilities. All right, and then let's see some other things that we could find if we just scroll through here just to our findings. Let's see if we can find anything interesting, any sort of interesting domains it found. So we see something called classes, documentation. We saw that Etsy examples, images, icons includes. Um, Let me see, multi-day. Oh, look, we have something called passwords here. All right. So if I were to right click that and I want to open, I'm gonna go to open um, in your URL in browser. Let's open it up in Firefox and see what's there. Oh, bam, we can see some credentials here. All right, so look at there. All right, so we can see usernames and then passwords. All right, so again, that's not something that I was easily able to find um uh do the Dougie that was easily able to find when doing a more passive crawl using Burp Suite. So it really shows how powerful of a tool OWASP Zap is, and how spidering is much more effective. However, spidering is a lot more noisier too, so you're more likely to get caught by some security mechanism using a spidering technique, because again, it's less stealthy. So it's probably so if you're looking to move in a more stealthy way, as far if you're doing any sort of white hat engagement, that it may be best to do the crawling. Um, if you know if you're looking to find domains like this, it just may take you a lot longer and maybe a bit more painstaking. Where spidering is a lot operates a lot faster, and so if speed is what you're going for, and you're just trying to be efficient as far as your time, the spidering may be a better solution. So I wanted to also show some other ways we can enumerate the backend um, server that may be running this application here. So we look here, we can see PHP my admin. So this lets us know what the backend web language is that's used for this application. So we know it that's used PHP. All right, so we go up a little further. Let me see. So here's the configuration file. So config dot inc. So if I were to right click that and open that up in the browser, open that up in Firefox too. All right, so based upon this error, even though we couldn't view the config file, look at the banner that it gave us. All right, so it's telling us that it's using an Apache, and the version of Apache is using, and also it's telling us that it's running on an Ubuntu system. So again, if I wanted to find some technology specific and version specific vulnerabilities to then launch against this application, I can. And then see, there's something else I thought I seen when scrolling through here. I thought I seen here we go, my SQL. All right, my SQL admin. So basically, we know that it's running Linux. We know that it's running Apache. We know that it's running my SQL, and we know that it's running PHP. And so those who have a background in web technology know what that equals, and it basically equals a lamp stack. So we know that this technology or this application is running a lamp stack. All right, and so those who may not be familiar with what the lamp stack is, it's a popular open source bundle of four software technologies used to build, host, and maintain dynamic websites and applications. And it basically represents a foundational and flexible solution stack for web development. So again, those acronyms are L for Linux, which is the operating system used. A for Apache, which is the web server being used. MySQL is the database being used, and then PHP is the scripting language, the web scripting language that's being used. All right, so that tells me a lot as a potential attacker, and then what vectors that I know that may be synonymous with the LAMP stack to then aim at this particular web application or its backend technology. All right, so but that is in a nutshell, that is crawling and spidering, and how we and what tools we could use in order to do so. As I said, there's advantages and drawbacks to both, just depending on what your situation is, and determining what's the best, the most strategic route to take as far as site mapping. But ultimately, these are two different methods that we could use in order to map a website or a web application. So please like, share, and subscribe. Most importantly, show your work. And until next time, take care of yourself and God bless.